Hello, crafty friends. How you guys doing? I see Roberta and Betty and Thelma, Mitzi. That seems to be us so far. But we have quite a few more people wander in here over the next few minutes. I was just kind of getting staged to set up for our cards for John Next Door. We are using the John Next Door Summer Special magazine box kit, the one that has irises on the front of it. We opted to do this class in 2 sessions because it was just too many wonderful materials not to. I really liked the stamp set, so I wanted to do some work with the stamps, and a lot of our Saturday people are not big stampers. So Thursday's class we did in stamping, or we made more use of our stamps anyway. And then today we're going to do some. Go ahead and put in my hands, please. Hi, Betty McSorley. Welcome, friend. This is one of our cards from Thursday. If you want to see how to make these, you can whip over to the video section of our YouTube channel, and you'll see a video on making these cards. So we made this one. One of the interesting things about this one is I wanted to know if I could heat emboss on Miri. And the answer, hi Brenda, hi Sharma. I wanted to know if I was careful with my heat tool, if I could heat emboss on mirror board. And the answer was yes, you can. So this is heat embossed on Miri. That was one of our discoveries from the other night. And the other thing we did the other night, which was really fun, and it's very loosely defined as stamping. I mean, I think some of you guys who don't like stamping would still enjoy this technique. I used my embossing folder that came with this kit. It's a beautiful 5x5 embossing folder. I ran my paper through, then I flipped it over, and I worked on the debossed side. So in other words, the veining is going down from here. The raised up side is on the other side of my card. Hi, Glenn. And I actually then took a sponge and I added ink and kind of smudged it up all the way around. So you get that beautiful veining in white, and then cut out the embossed image and laid a colored image over the top. And I love the way this one turned out. I thought it was really pretty. So that was a lot of fun to do. And I had not worked off of the back of an embossed card before, and I thought that was really fun. And our third card from the other night was just utilizing the papers in the book. I did put down mirror board in the back. This is in front of an envelope. So my card is the part where the mirror board is. And we actually store our cards here at the shop, the ones that are finished. We store in a sleeve with a matching envelope, so that when we're done with them, they're ready to go into my gifting box. We hang them up like this, and when they're done, we take them down and we put them in my gift box. So I just cut out, it was very easy cutting. I cut out one of the paper images from the book. I cut out some of the purple paper. Actually, this purple already had another image just like this one. So I layered those two with some foam tape and then just put in a piece of sparkly ribbon and my pearl. Recommendations from Thelma. I think it turned out really nice. Put a pearl there on the end of the tab, and I think it turned out really cute. So those were our Thursday cards, and that's some of what we did with the material from this book. I'm really happy. Hi, Adeline. I'm very happy with the way that today's cards came out. These are the ones we're going to make today using the die cuts that are also part of this kit. Come in a little closer if you would, honey, so they can get a good view of these cards. Because they're pretty and I worked hard on them. Margie and I worked late into the night last night getting these samples done. I worked on these. She worked on the class she has coming up. So I thought this turned out really pretty though. So these are the ones we're going to make today. I made this one open at the top with just the pretty little flowers. That stitching around there does something nice for this. You could stitch it in real stitches if you wanted to, although stitching 2 lines on that little frame might be a bit much. And then just using the paper pack. Margie wanted me to do one that was fall related.
And hi to Tracy.
Hi Tracy, welcome friend. Always nice to see new friends out there. So this was the one that I did that was fall themed. I'm going to have to do this one in a different color palette today because I already used these pieces of paper, but I'm still going to do the same card in a different color theme. So that's what we have for today. And let's see, where do I want to start? I think, it doesn't matter. I think we'll start with this one. I don't know why, just because. So with this one, I've already done a little of the prep work because what really took some serious time to do was to cut all these little flowers and glue everything together and cut my leaves. And so I've made up a packet of supplies we're going to need today. I want to talk as we go here about what I did to prepare these flowers though. So I'm going to take these out. We'll do our little stitch relines on those. I'm going to need, oh, and this one actually still needs to be inked, so that's perfect. We're going to take out some of our little leaves. Now this leaf die does not come with a magazine class kit, but a lot of you have it. I'm using the orchard leaves from Poppy Stamps. I had this on special a while back. And I love, 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 love this delicate leaf with these flowers. It's beautiful. I could have used both, but I chose to use this one, which cuts 3 leaves at one time. Here's the actual size of the leaves. They're really about the same size they are on the package. And I cut these 3 leaves at a time. So let's get the rest of our flowers out here and then we'll talk some more. I think I have just about the right amount of flowers. We may have to stop and cut something, I don't know. We'll see. I need 1 larger and 2 of the smaller little pink flowers. I need 1 of the larger purples and 2 of the smaller ones. That actually looked kind of pretty. This was just stacked up on there, but it'd be pretty to put another little flower in the center, wouldn't it? Okay, can't help but notice these things as I go. So I think the rest of my, oops, I need some leaves out here. I think I need about 4 of these leaf clusters. I didn't do anything to the leaves, but cut them out of some Basil Basics green cardstock, but they're really nicely veined and they're beautiful. I didn't do anything to them. I want to show you what I did on the pink, and to an extent I did it on the purple flowers, but it doesn't show up much on those. I get my inking card out here. I've been remiss. I didn't name it my inking card like they do it at Heartfelt Creations. I could use any kind of ink I want for this. I happened to have used some I just pulled out of inventory. I just pulled this chalk cloud blending ink out of inventory because it hit shelf life. And I just went around, oops. It's not impossible for you to get a product that's near shelf life, but we do try to make sure that we pull things on our own before they get to that point. And I just added a little bit of ink to give my flowers a little bit more character. So just a little bit around the edges. Some got more than others, which is actually okay too, because hi Angela. I'm just going to clean off my inking tool a little bit because I'm going to use it for another ink after a while. Okay, so I'm going to put that away and set my baby wipe aside. Okay, let's get our, I have a fine tip marker here. And I'm just going to go around the outside of my card and create a stitch line as if I was just loosely stitching it using a sewing machine. You guys can probably get more even stitch lines than I do, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be effective. I'm just stitching it all the way around the outside. Now, what I'm using here for Angela's benefit, on this card, I am using a 6x6 300 GSM card. I have a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 piece of cardstock already glued down to that 6x6, giving me a nice little white border all the way around the outside. And I want to show you how I got these little squares. I used my square die set and I used 2 dies. I happen to be using tattered lace. And I think I was kind of remiss recently when I said I never buy these square dies. I actually don't buy them as often because I can cut most anything that I want. I'm just using my paper cutter. But this is one time when it's really useful to have a set of squares, because what I was able to do then was take 2 coordinating square dies, tape them to the distance apart that I want them to be to give me my frame, and then use that frame to cut the pieces for my cards. Out of my tattered lace set, I skipped one size and just used 2 of them. So this is, let me tell you what the dimensions are of the square frame that I've created. This is 4 3/4 on the outside, and my inside frame is 2 3/4. Okay, so I have that little bit of, it's kind of about a 3/8 inch frame. And I cut that frame in both purple and in pink. First thing I'm going to do is stitch around these. So I'm just going to create little stitch lines as if I have sewn it on the sewing machine. This wants a line on the inside of the square and on the far outside. I did use for inspiration some of the patterns from the John Next Door magazine. I want to give credit where credit's due. Of course, I made changes because I must do that, just like I know you must do. Make, kind of personalize the designs. When you make the cards, that's a good thing. Means you have gained confidence and are ready to roll. And I love that because at first, everybody just kind of did what I was doing. But then over time, you have gained confidence and started absolutely doing your own thing, which is a beautiful thing to a teacher to see that happen. Someone was just saying she can really see it in the card she's making, the progression and sense of adventure that you guys are bringing into your card making now, and that's very satisfying to see. Okay, so I stitched around my pink one, just adding little hash marks or little dashed lines to represent that I've sewn it, and it doesn't show as much on this one, but I think if somebody looks closely, they should see the same stitching on my dark purple square as what they saw in my pink frame. So I'm going to stitch around this one too, even though it won't show much.
Angela asks, before we're done, will you give her a description of the embossing folder?
Yes, I will. Although remind me again if I haven't done it, Angela, okay? Okay, did I get all the sides? See, I was saying it doesn't show as much. I really have to look closely to even see if I've done it. But just for the sake of consistency, I'm adding stitch marks on the purple as well. So I've got my 6x6 card that has been, I've already put a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 lavender backing paper on that. I've stitched around that. I've got my two frames that I just described that I cut out of pink and dark purple. I'm going to take these frames and I'm going to put the corner of the pink into, instead of just laying one on top of the other, just for added interest, I'm putting one square into the other one. So I'm turning my pink square on the diagonal and I'm sliding it in so that I just have a more interesting layer. And I'm going to just kind of spot glue that here and there to make sure that stays right where I want it until I glue it down. So I'm going to what I'm doing is kind of looking at, I missed Yes, I wanted there. I'm looking at the little triangles around my square, and I'm trying to keep these little triangles relatively even as I glue this down, so you can look at these and get an idea of whether you're kind of in the right place. And just even those up a little bit as necessary to get this to, okay, I've got it tacked in place to where it's going to stay where I want it. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue this whole thing to my card. And that's very easy to do with my needle nose glue bottle because I just get a nice fine line around. And I'm going to kind of center this on my card. You could go either way. I'm putting the pink triangle up. It doesn't matter which way you go. I used the same color pink and the same color purple for the flowers that I'm going to use inside of this one. This flower die, let's see where the flower die is. The flower die that comes in the John Next Door kit makes all of these petals that we're using, and it actually makes all of these different flowers, except the leaves. All these flowers that I have here have come off this single die. I simply layered them, turned the top layer on a diagonal so that they show that they have 8 petals. And then, as you know, and we just discussed, I inked around the edge of all of my petals, whether they were the pink or the blue, or I actually used some of this chalk ink on the purple. I'm not sure whether I would do that again or not. I did, but it does make it a little bit foggy, and I think the clarity of the purple was one of the pretty features of it. So I'm not sure I would use the chalk ink on the purple again. It just, we try different things. Some work great, some don't work so great. Knocked off my little rhinestone, trying to wipe some ink off the center. So I'm just going to glue it right back there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put our vines in. These little orchard greens are just beautiful for the vining. They really are. And I know a lot of you guys have this die already. I know a lot of you have this. If you don't have, it's very reasonably priced in our store. It's called the Orchard die. Orchard Leaves, I think. Isn't that what it said? Yeah, Orchard Leaves, number 2343. I'm sure we still have them, and it's well worth having. There's a couple different variations of my leaves here. They cut out in slightly different patterns, so I'm not going to put the exact same cuts right next to each other. They'll look more realistic if I kind of stagger where I put them. So, and I'm kind of, these are long leafy leaf stems. And so the stems make it perfect to kind of create a viney flower that you can just keep working your way up. I don't think Angela will mind me saying this. And I think it bears some explanation that Angela is blind. I was going to say visually impaired, but that's an understatement. Angela is blind, and she is a crafter. She does beautiful work, and that's why when Angela's online, guys, I give more of an explanation of the colors and things. She's done some amazing things. She does beautiful paper crafting, and Angela has conceived of ways that allow her to be able to assemble her projects. She just needs a little bit of help with the colors and the shapes of things. So I try to give more descriptive, more of a description when Angela's on, because where we can just look at it and take for granted that we know what's happening. And for Angela, it's not obvious. And I hope you didn't mind me sharing that, Angela. I hope that's okay. But I think it just, I think it's just, it makes everybody can be more patient when they understand why we are taking more time with explanations, because it's a pretty remarkable thing that Angela has conceived of ways that she can continue to do what she loves to do. So I've taken my little leaf stems. I used 5 of them in total. I think I used 4 last time. It just depends on how they lay out. But I took 5 of them, and I just kind of slid the stem behind the leaf ahead of it so that I could kind of build those orchard vines out. I'm going to put one of my larger flowers here at the base. I'm going to use the pink one like I did before. And I'm going to kind of put that between my 2 stems and kind of fill that vacancy a bit. Then I'm going to grab one of my purples. And I'm going to come up here and put one of my purples midway up this stem. I'm using the little tiny one there. Now I'm going to get another of my pink flowers out. And I'm going to bring this pink flower. I have a nice big area here. I'm going to put this right in front of where the 3 leaves come together on that stem. I'm going to come over here. And I want a little smaller purple. I'm going to grab maybe this purple one, and I'm going to come up into this area here with it. I'm just kind of filling some of the areas that don't have as many leaves and kind of putting these in front of my vines a little bit. So I'm putting a purple there. I'm going to take one of my small purples and go clear to the top with it. Go clear up here with this purple, and then we need one more pink. Here's one that doesn't have, oops, now that I cleaned off my sponging tool. I used a lot of my tiny, tiny ones. You wouldn't think you'd use those tiny ones as much. You do. I used one of my itty bitty tiny ones, or I used them up first in my first card last night. Gotta ink one more of these little pink ones so it matches the others nicely. If you haven't tried these rounded blenders, I gotta say I'm really enjoying the rounded blenders. I think what I like about them is there's no sharp edges at all in these round blenders. We have them in the store, and we didn't get them too long ago. You can still get kind of a partial circle, when you're blending with them. So you have to, it's not like you can't get any smudge line, heavier smudge lines. You can. You just don't get sharp edges, which you don't often find in nature. Okay, I need some pearls on here. Let me find my little pearl box. So, Angela, I just situated I situated 3 smaller pink flowers and 3 of the smaller, the 3 smallest sizes, let me say that, the 3 smallest sizes of each of the colors of flowers. And I just situated those on top of my vines. And I think they came out really pretty. Okay, trying to see if I can get 2 different sizes of pearls here. We'll see how I do with it. I have some. I want a total of 12 pearls. I want 8 small ones of the smallest ones. And then I want 4 that are just one size bigger. And that's an easy thing to do if you're using the sheets of adhesive pearls, because they're right there for you when I'm digging them out of my little box. And it takes a little bit more focus to get matching ones. Okay, so I've got my pearls ready to go. I'm going to put my pearls in my corners. I'm going to put the first one about 1/8 inch out from my corner, and I'm going to put the 2 smaller ones about maybe 3/8 out from that, just inside my stitchery lines. This card here is a pretty close approximation of the one that's in the book, in the magazine. One thing I like about these designer-specific magazine craft kits is that designers are making absolutely sure that you get a lot of design choices to match the supplies in the kit. There's not a lot. There is some advertising for other products and things, and old contests and giveaways. One of the things you need to know about our magazines is a lot of them are retired editions, so the giveaways and contests and stuff, that will all be dated material when you buy these kits. But obviously the craft materials included in the kits is what we're going for, and that's as perfect today as it was that. Okay, good, Angela. I've wanted to share that before, and I just kept thinking I needed to talk to you before I did. But I'm glad that you didn't mind me sharing your story, because I think you really, woman, I mean, you and I have talked about it before. I think you're an inspiration. So I'm just placing my pearls still. I'm on my 4th set. And I really think this card is quite pretty. It just has a really beautiful sense of balance to it. These little pearls in the corners. really, they match up with the little pearls. I'm not sure I said this out loud, that I put pearls in the centers of all of my flowers. Oops, I didn't glue those last two. We better put a little glue on those. What was I saying? But I think the little, I'm going to go backwards this time. I think the little pearls in the centers of the flowers, then combined with the pearls on the corners of the cards, just give it a really interesting sense of balance. So I love the combination of the lavender, the deep purple, the pink. The stitchery just really does something for this one. And then those little matching flowers with the pearls and the pearls on the corner. I think that is just a really, really pretty card. Okay. All right. And next, what do we want to do? Next, let's do the 5x7 card next. I'm going to get out, oops, I'm going to need these rhinestones with that. Okay. I'm using the green sheet out of the magazine, and the green sheet from the magazine has all these beautiful tags that are done with happy birthday, with love. I already cut off the long happy birthday tag. Here's one that you can do your own writing on. And then it has these beautiful lily bouquets on it. Now I'm going to use the front of this paper, and I'm going to cut out the with love. So let me just snip that out first, just kind of pull that out so I'm not stealing that piece of paper. And then I'm going to cover the inside. Can you look that up, the round blending brushes, honey? We have a question about what the number is of the blending brush. That will get you to the right place. Just click on that one, and now click on the applicators. There you go. And you should, there it is right there. It's from Nellie's Choice, the round blending tool. It comes with two handles. They already have round blenders on them, and then you get 3 extras. It's from Nellie's Choice, and Bryce just linked it for you right there. It's coming up. So you can go ahead and click that link if you want to, Angela. Do you still have that open? Let's tell her the number of that, because sometimes she has an easier time finding things by number. Okay, the number of that, Angela, is IBAP 001. IBAP 001 is that blending brush. Okay, I have a 5x7 card. I've just put tape down in the middle of it. I'm taking the back side, which is why I cut out my greeting first. I didn't want to accidentally cut through the greeting I want to use. I have a little gnat over here flitting around who's going to end up getting stuck in tape or something. I won't feel sorry for you, little gnat, when that happens, because you shouldn't be there. So I'm taking the back of the green greeting sheet, and I am taping that into the center of my card. Now I'm going to cut that off, just as if I were facing my card. I'm I'm glad we were able to save that little happy birthday. I love that happy birthday tag. We'll save these for a different project. Put those aside. Now, I'm going to do something that will make you a little bit nervous. I'm just going to cut a wave on the face of my card. I'm going to start about 1.5 inches in. I'm going to dip in just a little bit. Then I'm going to round out. And then I'm going to dip in a little bit again. I'm cutting a wave away from the face of my card. I may decide I want that wave just a little bit more pronounced. So I'm going to come in just a little bit further on this dip in. There we go. I like that better. Looks more like my sample. So I cut a wave. Now I'm going to use some ink. You can use whatever ink you have handy. Again, because we just pulled these out of inventory and they were sitting on my desk, I'm using the Chalk Cloud ink.
Hi to Mary Casson, who won't stay long.
Hi, Mary. Good to see you.
Annette. Say hi to Annette.
Hello, Annette. Good to see you, friend. I'm going to put a piece of paper under the edge of my card here. I'm going to get my blending sponge out again that I keep cleaning off. You can clean these sponges with soap and water or a baby wipe. I'm just taking some of the loose ink off it so it won't corrupt my next color. And going to get some nice green on my sponge, and I'm just going to start working my way around here using a circular motion. And I'm going to work my way up off the top of my card. I'm going to work my way around the top. I'm going to fold my card here. And I'm going to start working my way down the fold line. And next, I'm going to very lightly just kind of model this a little bit in the middle to take the starkness off the white. I'm just going to kind of do a lighter blend to kind of take that sharpness away. I do want it lighter in the middle just because that's the look I want. But I'm kind of blending these edges just a bit. And that's about what I want right there. So you can do that with regular inks too. You won't find any cloud ink in the store right now because I pulled it all out of inventory last night. But you can use regular dye inks for that. You can use pigment inks for that. You can use alcohol inks for that. Whatever you'd like to blend with. Clean off my daughter a little bit. Keep that for next time. I'm going to fussy cut around. Now there's not much fussy cutting to do, so don't panic that I'm using the F word for fussy cut. There's the only thing you really have to fussy cut around is just the leaves that hang over the edge of the tag. So I'm just going around my tag quickly here. You can tell by how fast it's going that it's not a difficult cut. And if you don't want to fussy cut around all the leaves, just don't do it. Cut them off if you don't want to fussy cut around all of it. That's an easy solution. Beauty of crafting, you do what you want to do. Okay, I'm done cutting that out. I want to put some foam tape on the back of this because I'd like it to stand up a little extra. I'm using up my tape rolls here today. I have all these tape rolls that are just little pieces left, and I decided I'm going to get rid of them today. So I'm going to take you can take foam tape or foam squares, whatever suits your fancy. And I'm putting a little foam tape here. And that's the end of that tape roll. Told you we're using them up. Another one out here. Before the day's over, I'll exhaust this one too, probably. Gonna fit there? Yes, it does. Stuck it. I'll grab my scissors. And I'm just using some little pieces here to give this a really nice solid base. I just got tape all over my scissors. Good thing I got good cleaner. The best glue ever remover will take most things off your tape. When you use the best glue ever, as we know, it becomes like a glue dot. But if you get it anywhere you don't want it, it actually can be kind of hard to take off. So okay, I'm going to place my With Love floral tag up about a 1/2 inch in and a 1/2 inch down on my card from the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to take a couple.
Mary J asks if you make the flowers.
I did, using the die from the John Next Door kit. Now, this has pretty flowers on this tag, so this next step is completely up to you whether or not you do this. I decided, since I was using my pretty made flowers along the edge, that I wanted to cover up all but the foliage here with my handmade flowers also. So I'm going to come in here and get a size that's big enough to cover up the flower here. And that's just a perfect one, the kind of middle size one. I cut these flowers out of the tag I'm using. I don't know if I ever said it's off the green sheet, but the flowers on that green sheet are kind of a turquoise color. So I used kind of a turquoise color blue, a turquoise blue cardstock to cut my flowers. And then I put clear rhinestones in the centers of these. And this is just going to be a nice fit to put this slightly smaller one over the flower down here.
Did you put that on foam squares last time?
You can put this on foam squares or not. It's your choice. I think I did last time. I did not do it today. That's why all my creations end up being different. I'm going to take some of my leaf pieces now, and I'm going to begin creating kind of a leafy background for my flowers. Now, I did not try to make this look like one continual vine. You could if you wanted to. I didn't. I just kind of put the viney pieces down and I just kind of made them go every which direction to create a nice backdrop for my flowers. I did not try to ensure that they covered every inch of my card, but it does make a really pretty statement when you bring these leaves and flowers down. This curved edge, it's really pretty. I want my leaves to kind of come out and go every direction. In fact, I let a few of my little leaves, kind of the more solid pieces, hang over the edge just a bit. I am gluing the stems too, because if anything's going to bend and look funny, it'll be these very delicate little stems. So I'm gluing the stems as well as the leaves. But you can see I'm just taking these leafy pieces and just working them up the edge of my card. Some of them are facing down, some of them are facing towards the greeting. Some of them will have leaves going over the edge of my card, but I'm only letting the leaf part go over. I would not let the stems go over because the stems are just going to bend right up and look funny. So you don't want that. Hi, Charm. I'm not sure I said hi to you. I might have. If I did, hello again. I try to keep it straight who I've said hi to, who I haven't, and not miss anybody. But I gotta say, it is challenging. It was really challenging when you're creating things and looking away and then looking back up and trying to decide who you have and haven't spoken to. So you guys, I'm sure, will forgive me if I occasionally mess it up. I'm gonna let this one hang over a little bit into the inside. Just a leaf or two. And finally, I'm going to take one little cluster and go back towards my tag again. Now, these look kind of funny maybe when I'm just putting the leaves down, but remember, I'm coming back in and I'm going to place flowers. And the flowers are going to pull this all together.
Say hi to Kim R.
Hi, Kim R. Okay, so now I'm going to use my turquoise colored flowers I have made. And I figured when I looked at these last night, they're different ones than I used on my sample card because it's just the rest of the ones I had made at the time. But I figured if I'm careful, I will have just enough. Oh, I like that there. I'll have just enough of these to finish this up. My flower petals are actually fairly solid too. So I'm going to let them at times go over a little bit. I'm going to spread out these larger flowers because you can see what I have here is kind of an abundance of bigger ones and tiny ones, but none of the middle-sized ones. I used the last of the middle-sized ones on the tag. So I'm just going to have to make this work with these other little guys. And this one's going to cover a lot wherever I put it. I'm going to move this leaf if it's movable. Maybe it's not. I'm just going to cover it up then. Okay. I'm going to put this last larger flower at the bottom. And then I'm going to put another leaf cluster coming out from there because it wasn't really a big enough space for my great big flower. but that's what I have to use, so that's what I'll use. I could make more, but why? I already have all these. I'll make them work. There we go. Oh, I like that. It actually looks good. I'll put that right in there. Do you make sure that from the top and bottom of your card that all of your pieces are within the margins of the card, because otherwise you won't be able to fit it in your envelope. Now I've got these little ones here. So I'm going to start putting my little ones into this space. I've got these two that will act like a nice flower for that space, and then I'm going to just kind of scatter the little ones around here and there, and that will look pretty. Oops, let go. I love the way these look with these tiny little rhinestones on these tiny little flowers. I love that. Oh, the trio there's nice. I'm going to come and put this one above the big one. Oops, that's got to cover up those stems though. Those stems are not okay to show. So okay. Oops, not done yet. I have 3 blue rhinestones. I'm just going to put over here just for fun and interest. Just because I think this turquoise blue rhinestone color looks beautiful with my turquoise blue flowers with inked blue tips. Love this card. Here's my first one. Here's the 2 of them. Now you can see my floral arrangements look different, but both are pretty. I like it. I like it a lot. Now I used an inspiration card from the magazine for this design, and then I just kind of totally took off and did my own thing. You'll see it in the magazine if you look for this card. You'll see one that kind of looks a little bit like it, but you'll also see I took off and just totally did my own thing. Aren't they pretty? Love it. Love it. Love it. How are you doing? Oh, it's only 3 o'clock. Wow. I might not have prepared enough designs. Okay. We need, oh, this one I'm going to slide down. There was one more flower there. Do I want it anywhere? No, I really don't. I think we kind of have everything where we want it, maybe. No, I don't think I do want it. I could go down there and it'd look all right. I think I'll put it down there since I have just this one little lonesome flower. I'll put it down here. But there we go. That one's done. All right. This is the card we're making next. However, we're going to have to make it in a different color palette because I wanted to make this one kind of fall-like, but I used up the orange sheet. So I have to try a different color. And I had two choices. I had purple or one other color, and you know which one I'm going to choose if I'm having to choose, right? So I picked the purple, even though we already had a purple card or a card with purple on it. It didn't really feature the purple, so I thought it was okay to do this one. I have a 6x6 card out here. I'm going to cut myself a card layer that is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. This is a little too long. It is. I didn't cut one side of it. There we go. 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 layering piece. I can set that piece aside now. I don't need it. Beautiful. It'll have a little white border around the outside, which I like. I'm going to put some glue on this since I have just a tiny, tiny border. The glue allows me to move the sheet a little bit if necessary to get my border nice and even all the way around. Like that. It's a little bit low, so I need to raise it a little bit higher. And now I moved it too much to the left. And now it's better. Okay, so I have my white border all the way around. Next, I'm going to use this piece right here, and I'm going to cut a layer of this lavender that is 1/4 of an inch smaller than my last piece. That was 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So this one's going to be 5 1/2 by 5 1/2. I have the lavender stripe paper, and I'm going to run my stripe vertically. And I'm going to put this one on top of my dark purple. I'll have my lavender on top of that. Angela, for my sample card, I used dark brown cardstock with the yellow lined paper and dark brown for my trim, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And then I used the rustic orange color flowers. I was trying to make something more fall themed. This time I'm using the purples because I already used up that sheet. So I'm going to go to this sheet right here, which is the greeting sheet, and I want this flower off the bottom. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut that flower out. This is the flower from the greeting sheet, and I'm using the flower in the lower left-hand corner. I'm going to cut this to be, I didn't really need to cut up into that flower. I'm going to cut this to be about 4 inches tall. I have a rough edge where this was torn out of the magazine, so I'm going to have to straighten that edge up. And then I'm going to trim my other side to match, just so that it's about the same from the edge that one is. This cutout piece then ends up being 2 3/4 inch wide by 4 inches long. I'm going to get some more of that purple out, and I'm going to cut this to be 1/4 inch larger. I think I'm just going to glue this on here and trim it. I like the way this plays together with the dark purple and the layering when I actually layer this cutout piece on the dark and give this topper that we just created a little trim. I'm going to cut this by hand. If that makes you nervous, use your trimmer. The risk you take is that you do what I just did and get one side narrower, and then you have to trim the other sides, but that looks pretty good actually. I'll leave that alone. I have one more piece that I want to add here. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to get this happy birthday. I'm going to fussy cut it. It is really not a lot of fussy cutting at all. The only thing I have to really fussy cut is just these leaves and petals. Otherwise, these are straight lines. So I'm going to cut this out real quick. Cut as many or as few of the leaves as you want to. Turn your paper, not your scissors. When you're fussy cutting, you'll have much better control. Nice long stretches down the banner. I'm going to set this banner on a piece of my dark purple too, and I'm going to kind of rough cut around it so that it has a nice trim piece also. There's one leaf I just cut off. It just kind of hangs up out of nowhere all by itself. I cut it off. So, see, it didn't take any time to fussy cut that happy birthday banner. I'm going to put that banner on my dark purple, and then I'm just going to kind of rough cut around it so I have some nice trim work around this too, layering behind it.
Kim is asking if we have discussed the Christmas extravaganza yet.
Well, let's talk about it. I actually don't like the way I had that on there, so I'm going to move it up here. I don't have all the glue line. So this year with Craftaganza, I didn't order in May, or I did order in May, but I did not order directly from Hunky Dory for two reasons. One is that the pallets of Craftaganza, you know, it comes in huge numbers of boxes because of all the pieces involved in Craftaganza. They come in huge numbers of boxes, which are usually shipped on pallets. And I have been having real trouble with FedEx and Hunky Dory Shipping Company with shipping it to the right port. When they shipped my pallets to the wrong port, it would take me days to resolve it. last year, FedEx hit me with $1,700 in storage fees while they ran me around Robin Hood's barn to do all the customs work that shouldn't even have been necessary had it been shipped to the right port. And on top of that, I pay another couple $1,000s to get it here, air freight. And I've had enough. I've had enough of paying an enormous amount in air freight only to have my boxes misdirected, arriving in very poor condition, products missing, taking weeks to get here sometimes when I was paying airfare or air freight rates to get them. And I just said, I'm not going to do that anymore. Well, that only gave me a couple of choices. One was that I could stop buying Hunky Dory. You guys would not be happy with me if I did that. So that wasn't really a realistic choice because Hunky Dory, as you know, is one of our major product lines. And I love the product, I just don't love getting it here. Before I go on with my story, I want to talk to you about gluing this down. I'm taking my trimmed topper that has my layered dark purple behind it. I'm putting it in the center, side by side, and about a 1/2 inch down from the top of my card. I'm gluing this one flush to the card. About a 1/2 inch total down from the top. And then I'm going to put foam tape on this one. Anyway, so I had a choice. I could either stop buying Hunky Dory, which wasn't really a reasonable choice, or I could work together with Hunky Dory and another company to act as our distributor and get it through them. Now, the good news is that Hunky Dory was able to work it out for me where I could buy our Hunky Dory crafts at a reasonable price from this other company. They helped me work it out with the company to do that because they didn't want to lose us as a customer either. And the other company does not do air freight, so their prices overall, they're able to offer better prices because they barge all their products in from UK instead of air freighting. Well, the good news is that the prices are less. The bad news is that it takes a lot longer to get here because it is coming by barge instead of by air. But I decided that since my air freight wasn't necessarily getting things here in the right time frames and the right conditions for the price I was paying, that we're just going to have to go with slower delivery times. And so I went ahead and I ordered my products from this other company, and they are being barged from the United Kingdom. Well, just because life is what life is and Murphy's Law comes into play at the darndest times, literally Betty on the slow boat. That's funny. Because life is what life is, my first really large order from this distributor, there was a mix-up with Hunky Dory and the distributor, and it didn't get shipped to the distributor in his last barge. which meant it had to wait for the next barge to go out because, of course, he has to fill a container to make it worth his while to. I put foam squares, foam tape on the back of this long happy birthday banner. I'm setting that happy birthday banner almost at the bottom on the left hand side and raising it up about an inch on the right hand side. So his order didn't get shipped timely just because that's what happens in life. It just didn't get out. And so we're waiting for the next barge to come, which will have our hunky dory. The good news is it is now en route. We're being told that it will reach the distributors at the end of August, which means I should have our supplies the first week in September. Now that's all the bad news because it's very slow and we're very late getting it. But the good news is that we are going to offer, without even having to do a pre-sale, we are going to be able to offer Craftaganza at a much lower price. I can't tell you the price yet because I haven't received my invoices to tell me exactly what it's going to run. But I can tell you that because I will not have all that shipping to pay this year, that it will be a much lower price, more comparable to what the UK people pay, because it's being barged instead of being air freighted. So that's my story. I'm saying it's going to be here about the first, probably the second week in September. That's still going to give you plenty of time to get your cards done. And our prices are going to be better than they have ever been. I've always felt that because, based on what I paid, that we always had fair and reasonable prices compared to what I paid to get that here. But as moving forward with using this distributor instead of going directly through Hunky Dory for everything, you will see, I believe, a fairly significant drop in the price of especially luxury kits and some of the larger Hunky Dory items. Those prices could be dropping on the average item at least $1 or $2 on everything. So yeah, it's Hunky Dory is a wonderful company. I love Adam. I love the people there. I love the designers. I think they are magicians with what they create, but they're a little family company that got big suddenly, and their fulfillment has not necessarily kept pace with their size. So that's my news. Bad news, going to take longer to get things once products are released. Good news, they're going to be less expensive than they've ever been. And for you guys, that is going to be a boon if you can be patient with getting them here. The prices are going to be outstanding. So it's just a decision I had to make for business purposes because I just could not continue to absorb huge increases in shipping costs and get the service levels we were getting. So there we go. That's what we're doing. And that's why Craftaganza has not arrived yet, but soon. It will be here soon. Now, while I've been telling my whole story, I'm not sure I'm close enough for you guys to necessarily see what I'm doing. So why don't you come in a little bit, Bryce? I am taking my pearls. I found that this is a reasonable way to do it. I'm setting it on the end of a piece of foam tape, and I'm taking my marker and I'm coloring it. I have a purple, let's see, what are these things called again? Intensity marker. I'm coloring my pearl purple. I don't have every color of pearls. I do have a bunch more colors downstairs, but I only needed 3 of this color. So I just changed my own colors using an intensity marker. And I'm letting them dry on the end of my foam tape. Then I'm going to pick these up. Oops. These are, I just colored them with a pearl pen, so they're not quite as shiny as they were, but they are really pretty colors for my card. And I'm going to put, this is about a 10 millimeter pearl. I'm going to put a 10 millimeter purple pearl in each corner of my card, although I'm only using 3 corners because the 4th corner has that banner coming down in. Oops, I was going to use my marker to put my glue on. That wouldn't work real well. Well, we'll do some Christmas cards and stuff when they get here. I did already tell you I'm not going to do the entire Craftaganza kit this year, but I have ordered extras of enough sets to do classes in. I believe I ordered enough to do 2 sets from every Craftaganza kit. One other thing I noticed this year, usually Craftaganza has 10 topper sets. This year, they're priced the same coming out of UK, but they have 8 sets per. So a little inflation showing there. Here's our card we just finished in purple. Isn't that beautiful? Here is our fall themed one. Now, I did do one thing on the other one I didn't do on this one, and I think it shows, so I might have to fix that. On this one, you can see that I put some gold stickles in the center of my flowers because I thought that was very fall themed. And I ran a little thin line sticker around it. I think we should do the same. So let's do that because why not? I have some gold stickers right here. Make sure I pick one that I have enough sheets left to go all the way around a 6x6 card. And I do. I'm using thin line stickers. I don't know if these are the ones from, actually I believe these were the hot off the press Dazzle ones, number 2404. I'm using thin line stickers, really thin, and I'm just going to run a gold line right between my striped paper and my background cardstock. That looks pretty. I'm going to use my itty bitty tiny little scissors to get in here and trim that in just the right place. I'm going to run another of my stickers down the side. I think I can slide right under. Maybe not. I might have to piece it in around that. Okay. I'm running it down the left side. I'm trimming it, and I'm going to have to piece it in because I put foam squares right to the end of my little banner here. I'm going to have to piece in a little piece right here. Oh, we can do that. We're good. We can do that. And I'm going to cut it just a tiny bit longer, and then I use my scissor blade to kind of push it up under there. Get my third strip and go across the bottom, right between my striped paper and my solid. These are the little touches that you don't absolutely have to do, but when you do them, you realize they just add so much, just these extra tiny little details. So I'm excited that I'm going to be able to offer you some of the best prices. I'm a little frustrated I haven't got my products yet, but I am very excited to be offering you the kind of prices we're going to be able to offer this year. Oops. While I've been waiting, I did order, what's it called? I did order it's not Sunset. What's it called? I'll have to think about it. I did order one of the supplemental Christmas sets directly from Hunky Dory. We should be listing that this week. It came in yesterday. And yes, I air freighted it. So I won't get the new pricing on this one quite yet, but it's just outstanding. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I wish I could remember the name of it right off. If one of you guys know, it's the Blue Tones winter set. If one of you guys know the name of it, otherwise I can look it up and tell you. But that one we may be able to go ahead and get started with. Okay, I'm going to piece it in a little bit right around this banner here again. It would have been easier to put this down before I put down the banner, but
under the moon. Is that right? That's a question mark.
No. Kim R, we just got the Warm Christmas in. I don't know if you saw that. Warm Christmas is one of the new G45s. It's spectacular. And I got that little piece in there, crooked. So we have that one available. If that's the one you happen to be looking at, it's here. We have it here and available. Okay, there's our gold line around. Now look at what that adds. Obviously, if I had put these 4 lines down before I put this banner, it would have been easier to put my lines in. So there's something to think about when you're doing it. Let's get some gold stickles here. And I'm just going to put some stickles around the centers of these flowers. Maybe bring them up just a little bit, make it look kind of furry. Excuse me, furry in that center. And there we go. How beautiful is that? See that extra little glimmer from those thin line stickers? Isn't that something? Little bit of gold stickles in the center of those flowers. And you are polished and beautiful. Here's our autumn theme. Here's our purple. You have this, you have these. That is, yeah, it is. It's like, maybe it is called Moonlight. We have that one here. I might have to look it up to give you the name of it, but my goodness, is it beautiful. And you'll see it this week, next week in What's New Wednesday, because we haven't unpacked the boxes yet. but I know that's what's in them because that's what I ordered directly and it just came in. So it's gorgeous. Trust me when I say, you know how much I love the, which one was it? The something season last year, the animals in the blue tones that we did last year. Oh, it's like that. Beautiful, beautiful. I totally recommend you take a peek at Merry Little Christmas Line. Never seen minty papers. I have not seen minty papers from any of my distributors. I'll keep an eye out though. Okay, Minty. I'll keep an eye out. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. We're definitely doing some of those animals, Betty. Okay, that's what I had prepared for today because I did so much of the base work in advance. We're done. I don't have anything else to show you. I can give you a final glimpse of what we did today. Here's this one we just finished. Here's our cutaway border. I love this design. I love the design. This whole idea here, just cutting that away at an angle and using the tag up here, that came from John next door, and then I took off with the fresh flowers, well, the handmade flowers. And then our pretty little dainty purple and pink flowers. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Oops, this one goes this way. I made one open from the top and one open from the side. They turn out pretty. And then also from John next door, for those of you who weren't here, these were our Thursday cards, also from this kit, guys. I used mirror board. I covered, well, you can see the video. I covered my European A6 card in purple mirror board. I fussy cut the happy birthday. I put a little piece of glittery gold ribbon down the side, stickled the inside of the flowers, and put a pearl at the end of the tag. Hi, Catherine. Here are, this is the one that I told you I used a new technique. I used the embossing folder, which I will be describing for Angela momentarily. I used the embossing folder and I embossed a piece of white cardstock. Then I flipped it upside down and I inked it, which allows you to show all those white lines. And I just smudged the ink in around the edges. Then I fussy cut around the embossed image all the way around, including the box. I put some cutout flowers from the magazine and a happy birthday sentiment from the magazine, which, by the way, we didn't have one that just said happy birthday that was narrow enough. So I took one and I cut it. I cut the flowers out of the center and made it short enough. And I mounted that all on the beautiful brown feather paper. So, and then this one, which was a stamping card, where I used the background leaf stamp to create my own background paper. I used purple mirror board to set in a piece of that background paper. And I put my stamped flowers up on some foam squares. And then I tried something I'd never tried before. I wanted to know if I could emboss on mirror board, and absolutely could. So if you want to see the complete directions for these, they're in Thursday night's class. But you can see why I wanted to spend 2 sessions on this John Next Door kit, because it's fabulous. Okay, this embossing folder, Angela, is 5 by 5. We have lily cluster, a lily with leaves surrounding it in the lower right-hand corner. It's about, I'm going to say that the entire image side to side is about 3 inches, and it stands out from the corner by probably 2.5 inches. So we have one lily surrounded by foliage, and then in the upper corner we have 3 lilies surrounded by foliage, and then there's a square, a raised square in the center. That square would be beautiful for stamping into, and it's a 3x3 square in the middle, and that's what the embossing folder looks like. In this John Next Door kit, you get the flower die we just talked about. You get the embossing folder we just talked about. So you get all 3 of these dies, including this die that makes all those little flowers we use today. You get all the papers from the magazine. What am I forgetting? Oh, and then the stamp set. That's right, that we used on Thursday night. This is a beautiful stamp set, by the way. A really gorgeous stamp set that we used to make our cards, our stamped cards, on Thursday night. So you get a 6x6 stamp set. You get lots of really beautiful papers in this one. You get the dies, the embossing folder, all the ideas in the magazine, and the magazine is chock full. And that's what you get in the John Next Door kit. We still have quite a few of these. Don't miss out on this one, guys. This is one of the really good ones. I really, really enjoyed working with this one. And for $18.99, it's a steal. It's a steal. Let's take a look at what we have coming up. I have not put these together yet. Next Thursday's kit, Brittany just brought to me. Let's see if I can get it here. Next Thursday's kit comes with 8 cards. These are being done in pearl paper. So you get 8 pearl paper cards and envelopes. I've just found that these, when I do these thin line sticker cards, which is really kind of what I'm featuring in this, that I love them on the pearl paper. Okay, you'll get a sheet of foam squares. You'll get 3 beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Dufex flowers and other images sheets. These Dufex, this is good. This kit is going to be priced very attractively, but purchased alone, these Dufex sheets cost $4.95 a sheet. We get 3 flowers. We get 3 of children, one sleeping, one reading a book, and one playing with a telephone. They're going to be beautiful. And then we get 3 more flowers. So we're going to have a total of 8 cards. I hope we have 8. We have 9. We may have to adjust the kits. I think she put in 8 cards. I think we're going to have 9 flowers. But it's not in yet, honey. I have to put it in today. The kit isn't up yet, but it will be shortly. We're putting in a full sheet of these assorted borders, thin borders. We're putting in a full sheet of these beautiful corner stickers that give us lots of choices. We are putting in a half a sheet of assorted greetings. And then, like I said, we're putting in, I hope it's 9 cards. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, were there really 10 images, or did she just miscount in this one? There's 3. That's 3. I'm not imagining it. There's really 3 there. There's really 3 of those. And there are really just 2 of those. So there's 8. There should be 8. There'll be 8 cards. 8 cards, 8 envelopes in the pearl pattern, plus 2 sheets of stickers, plus foam squares. These are going to be drop dead gorgeous when I'm done, I promise you. But I haven't made them up yet. Hopefully I'll have them done by Wednesday so I can show you what we'll have. And then you can pick it up and watch the video later. Next Saturday, can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. We are doing our Underwater World. These are selling briskly. If you want one, don't hesitate because they will be gone. This is the Underwater World. I am amazed what we put in this kit. This kit includes, this is the regular kit, foam squares, this gorgeous die that is under the sea and the seabed, plus all those extra fun little dies with the starfish and the bubbles and the shells. Beautiful. 23-page double-sided 6x6 paper pad. It's gorgeous. I'm not going to take the time to show them off again since I've shown you before. You're going to get 2 5x5 cards, and you're going to get a bunch of European A6s, and you're going to get tons and tons of cardstock. I have to admit, I think I've robbed some out of this, so I'm going to have to replace that or dig for some at the last minute because I'm not sure which ones I took. But I'm going to have to replenish my pack. You get these punch-out sheets. This is all the base kit. You get all of that in the base kit. But wait, there's more. I feel like one of the late night TV announcers. But wait, there's more. If you buy the deluxe version, you get all of this, and you're going to get, in addition, in the deluxe kit, you're going to get the scenic image with a porthole die. Where's my porthole die? There it is. Porthole, which is fashioned so that you can actually make your porthole out of 2 different kinds of paper. So if you wanted to make like a wooden ring and a metal ring in the porthole, you can. Plus it has a school of fish in it. You're going to get 3 sheets of oversized sheets of mirror board for use in your portholes. You're going to get 6 more heavy-duty cards in the envelopes. And you're going to get 2 sheets of acetate. And as a bonus for buying the deluxe kit, you're going to get free in this kit. You're going to get this wonderful Underwater World die with a crab, a seahorse, 2 fish, a lobster, a jellyfish, and these turtles. Let's look at some of the cards we're making out of these packs. All of these cards here are made using components from the base kit. Let's come in a little bit so I can see the cards. There we go. We've got Life on the Reef. Nice subdued background in this one. This is a more vivid Life on the Reef design. Unless you're looking for it, I mean, the whole thing kind of looks 3D, but here's our 3D image added in that corner. Here's our fish on the reef. Uh-oh. Okay, we'll take care of you, Roberta. We've got an orca. Here's that beautiful sea bottom die. Isn't that gorgeous? And then this is using a torn paper technique for the background. Love this one. Looks like Shark Week when they bait and bring in a bunch of sharks. And I use 3 different colors of background paper on my seafloor here and just positioned them in different positions to let the pieces show. This one I just put a piece of, it was very active, beautiful card base anyway, and I just added a piece of acetate and a few little details to it. Here is our dolphins. These cards are going to be perfect for anybody. Kids are going to love them. Adults are going to love them. They'd be great get well cards because they're very cheery. They are just stunning. Here's 2 cards that are made using the deluxe kit. Here's my porthole. I put kind of a subdued background around this one. I think I'll make one that make more that have a more stunning background, but I made kind of a subdued background for this one so that we could it would look like we were inside a ship looking out the porthole. But you can see how you can use 2 different colors on that porthole. Isn't that fun? And this one, I need to add some more foam along the ocean edge, but this is my baby turtles headed for the ocean for the first time. And this has a piece of acetate here to represent the water the turtles are going into. Okay, so that's that one. And then we have lots of other projects coming up. I don't think I'll go through everything today. Just let me tell you, there is massive amounts of beautiful stuff coming your way. I did take my paper jewelry and actually finish it. Here's one of my earrings. Lauren, who never comments or seldom comments on my projects that are sitting on the table, came out here and said, "What's that?" Here's my earrings. That's a good idea, Betty. I need to put some tracks in the sand behind my turtles. That's a very good idea. So we have paper jewelry coming up before too long. We're going to be doing a series of 3 classes on foiling. We have so many things coming up for you, you won't believe it. So if you're loving what we're doing, hit that like button, please, because we want YouTube to know they should feel perfectly comfortable in sending people our way because people are having fun here. So hit that like button if you would. And if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss anything we're up to. We have so many fun things coming your way. So hit that subscribe button if you would. I'm going to put an email link in the comments section below this video in just a few minutes. If you're not signed up for our newsletter, sign up for our newsletter so that you can get links to all of the products we're showing in these videos, and so that you can know about specials and coupons. And we will also have our class schedule in there. So you don't want to miss out on anything. Sign up for that newsletter as well if you're not already a subscriber. I'll put that link right below this video in the comments section in a few minutes. If you want to purchase any of the products you've seen today, you can go to www.simplyspecialcrafts.com, our website. You can look at the left-hand column and you'll see live stream class kits. That's where you'll see all the kits, but we have all these products separately. In fact, we have over 12,000 products in stock right now. So there are and they all surround paper crafting and associated crafts. So be sure that you take a look in our store. I think that's it for now. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom before we go? Just waiting around a second to see if there's any last questions. All righty. I think that's it. Then we will see you on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday. We'll be here at 5 o'clock Pacific time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll take about an hour of your time to show you what's brand new in the store. Till then, I'm going to say good night, Gracie.